And welcome back, Air Acolytes, to another edition of Breaking Wind, a Last Airbender podcast. I am your host, Jason Roy Gaston, and with me, as always, VHS Jace, into another round of what the heck is going on this season, the final season of Avatar. Here we are, episode 6 of Series 3, The Avatar and the Fire Lord. Sounds romantic.
Does sounds sweet.
Yes,
Sounds
does.
like
Yes,
nothing at all will happen in this episode.
Well, this is Roku's backstory. Roku has far and beyond been a driving force of the series, but we don't really know a lot about where he came from. So here's his origin and his concluding story, all wrapped up into one. It's the life of Roku. My Roku, by the way, that I watch TV with is named Avatar Roku, by the way. I just wanted to share that.
I love that. Can
So,
I just say straight off the bat, though, this episode is a holy Cocoa Pops episode, because I don't want to say the real word, but it is
children watch the show.
Speechless at the end of this episode. I can't wait to talk about it.
It really is just a great episode. So let's not wait to talk about it. Let's talk about it. So the episode begins with Roku coming to Aang in a vision saying, Aang, you must wait for me in the Dagobah system. No, I'm sorry. Aang, you got to hear my life story. Come meet me on my island. As a parallel, somebody leaves our boy Zuko a scroll. And the scroll is the top secret diary of his grandfather, Fire Lord Sozin.
Yeah.
So we got two opposing characters getting new revelations as we enter this.
The brilliance of this episode is the fact that we're getting the story from 2 points of view.
Yes, indeed.
It's not something you see a lot of, and what a great hook for the episode is to have the story told from the same time from 2 different perspectives. Genius.
Yes. This was haunting. I thought, whenever they land on the island and there's nothing there, and Toph jumps down, she makes a little ripple on the ground and she says, no, there are hundreds of houses buried under this ash. That sent chills up my back, because that is just like this sense of doom that is just hanging on this episode.
I agree. And when she says it, at first I'm thinking, oh, it must be they're all underground. No, they are covered in ash because it's all gone.
They're crispy critters by this point. But Avatar Oko. You gotta go. Avatar Oko. He's a character we haven't heard from before. He bends ears. Come here. Avatar Roku appears riding a freaking dragon. And he's like, Aang, come with me. Ride this dragon. It's awesome. And Aang's like,
he looks
okay.
pimp.
He does. And he looks surprisingly serene. Usually whenever we see Roku, he's kind of stern. He doesn't look very happy. In this episode, though, he's got this sense of calm and the sense of peace about him. It's almost like we're seeing the last thing he has to do, isn't it?
Maybe.
Perhaps so. So Zuko, in the meantime, reads a scroll and gets to the end of it. And a lot like me, whenever I read 50 Shades of Grey, I want to know what happens next. And so he goes to the resident expert in trashy romance novels, Azula, and asks her questions about what did our grandfather do? And she's like, well, you know what grandfather did. He burned everyone and then he died. But she does tell him, hey, there's a secret vault downstairs that has more records. Maybe you should go check down there. And of course, that would be a terrible idea. So Zuko goes and does it.
Yeah. Which kind of says to me, why does he have to wait till the middle of the night? I mean, like, he's the prince, right? He can do that anytime.
Yeah, but you know how his dad is.
He likes to be stealthy.
Yeah, you know how his dad is. Zuko's one of those people who would sneak down a hallway, like, humming his own theme music,
bouncing off the walls, doing maneuvers,
rolling for no reason. There's guards watching him. Like, what is the prince doing? Shh, pretend like you don't see. He'll burn you. Just act like you don't see him. Roku takes Aang to one of his fondest memories, and that is hanging out with his best friend, Sozin. Roku
Yep.
and Sozin were buddy pals back in the early days.
They were.
This continued even whenever Roku found out that he was the Avatar. And when Sozin became the Fire Lord, they still remained friends.
Yeah.
Now, it got separated for many years, which is kind of what drove them apart. But that's the point, is that Sozin and Roku started out as friends. That gave me another kind of pit in my stomach because I knew, oh no, this is going to be a tragedy.
Yeah. And it very much is this episode. It's a tragedy. And it's God, it's got some emotional weight behind it, this episode. Not a surprising amount of emotional weight, but very heavy on the heart.
Oh, Fang. Fang killed me in this episode. Poor Fang.
Yeah.
So moving on, Sozin and Roku, they part on good terms. Sozin actually hands Roku a headband, or whatever you call this thing, that is only supposed to be worn by the royal family. And he gives it to him and says, I want you to wear this because we're friends. We'll be pals. We'll be pals forever. Won't we, Copper? You sure will, Todd. People just got that joke and they're like, oh, no. Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Oh, yes.
Oh, goodness. So there are no bathrooms in the spirit world. Now this is Aang's physical body, just to kind of remind us that the gang is there. I'm not going to take this picture down. I think it's amazing, and I do think it's one of the funniest, crudest jokes they've ever done on the show.
Yeah.
Whenever Katara said, "Are there bathrooms in the spirit world?" and Sokka says, "I can tell you from experience, no, there are not."
I wondered whether the writers watched this episode and went, "Oh wow, this is heavy. What are we going to do? Let's put a fart joke in there."
Yeah, let's do a poop joke.
But it's a good one.
Let's have a scene where they discuss Aang taking a dump. That's just great. That's awesome. But
yeah, it was great.
Traveling the world, Roku learns the elements. He learns the elements alongside Aang's old teacher, Monk Gyatso, who was a little boy at the time. He learns the ways of the waterbenders from the North Water tribe. And then he learns the ways of the earthbenders from an earthbending master. And before you know it, Sozin is shooting out all kinds of things from every orifice. He is a master avatar. Well, that was pretty cool, yes.
Yeah, that whole montage scene, the Rocky build-up scene, is great. It's good.
Yes,
we get to see him
yes.
get all his powers, and yeah, formidable.
Yeah. Of course, Aang's just sitting there watching it all, thinking, I didn't get my powers in a montage, but whatever.
Hey,
It's
did you
taken me
notice
3
too,
seasons.
even in this montage, they show something fresh and different with each power.
They do,
Something we
yes.
hadn't seen before. Like
Yes.
surfing, with the surfing on the water. Oh, why didn't I think of that? Or the way they were just riding the earth up the top of that. Everything was slightly different. I love that. I really appreciate they put that level of care in there.
Yes. So Roku returns home and he meets Fire Lord Sozin, who is now Fire Lord now. And of course, Sozin says, whenever one of my subjects enters my presence, it is customary to bow. And you're just like, uh-oh, but not you, my friend. Come here, give Uncle Sozi a hug. And they greet each other as old friends.
Mm.
And then Roku makes a fatal mistake. A fatal mistake. He gets married. And during this time, Sozin chooses the most inopportune time to spring something on him. He basically springs on him that, hey, we could be using your powers and my might as a military leader to take over the entire world.
Oh.
And
you know how I read that whole scene? It was him coming up going, hey, dude, let's invade Poland.
Pretty much,
That's how I took that. Yeah.
Let's invade Poland. Roku's just like, dude, it's my wedding. No, leave me alone.
I've got enough pressure on tonight.
So, yes, some time passes and Roku goes to the Earth Kingdom because Sozin has done the unthinkable. He has invaded an Earth Kingdom territory. And so Roku has to go set him right. And it is basically the final erosion of their friendship, because Well, Sozin attacks him, and Roku basically has to show him who's daddy.
Oh, and does he what?
Oh my goodness, yes.
It's a great scene, Jace.
Hangs him
oh,
up
wow.
to dry. And he just walks up there, gets right in his face, and is like, "Who's your avatar? Tell me." And then slaps him. "That's me. Say I'm your avatar. You're my avatar. Say it louder." I'm just kidding. He doesn't do that. But I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't regret doing it. So yeah, the friendship between these two guys is pretty much over by this point. It is Dunsky. This one should have come earlier. This is Avatar Roku leaving right before Sozin attacks him. I thought I had all my slides in order. Oopsie doopsie. And it stays that way for 25 years. They don't talk.
Yeah.
Until one day something terrible happens. A massive cataclysm, a volcanic eruption on Sozin's island, sends dangerous, hot, sticky, inconvenient lava towards the unwitting villagers. And Roku does his best to try to evacuate everyone. And whenever that doesn't work, he turns around and starts battling the mountain. That sounds like
he's fighting
a Klingon proverb.
Volcano.
He is fighting a freaking volcano. And for a while, he's winning, but it's a cataclysm unlike anyone in this world has ever seen. And even from 100 miles away, who should see it but Sozin? And he's horrified because he knows his old friend is on that island. And he heads that way with nothing but altruistic intentions. And I say that without any kind of sarcasm. I honestly think Sozin went there with all intentions of helping.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Did you have additional thoughts?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
I just wanted to say I love about that whole scene is a minor thing. No matter, even though he's the Avatar, Jace, he can't find off breathing those toxic fumes.
No.
And it was a great little element that went, of course, you're there, you're sucking in all this. Like your 4 elements ain't going to help you in this thing. You know, no matter how hard you try, you're going to be breathing some of that in.
I appreciated how they didn't nerf him at the end. He was still powerful as heck. It was just biology is what got in the way. But Roku is fighting the volcano and he's losing. And that's when Sozin shows up and starts to help. And of course, you're like, oh, yes, good friends getting back together again.
Yeah.
And then in the midst of this, Sozin starts to succumb to the toxic fumes. And Sozin makes a choice. I don't think it was
epiphany, perhaps.
Yeah, I think he has a sudden epiphany because, like I said, I don't think he went there with the intention of betraying Roku. I think the opportunity just presented itself.
Yeah, I agree. 100%.
And he says the words, "If you weren't around, taking over the world would be easy." And with that, he leaves Roku behind in one of the saddest scenes ever.
Yeah.
To be consumed by the pyroclastic flow as Fang comes down to try to protect his master. And Fang is consumed as well. I hate Sozin so much. Yeah. Fing Fang Foom. Fing Fang Doom.
Yeah. Hey, can I just, at the beginning of that scene, when that first started, we saw those I thought he was being attacked.
I did too. It was a nice little red herring, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
So, but of course, since Roku is an avatar, he pops back out. He respawned. And Aang has been born. Yes. And Aang's just like, did I just watch my mom give birth? And Roku's like, yeah, it's best not to.
I'm never going to be able to wash that memory out of my head. Did you have to land us at this angle? Yeah. No,
you couldn't have put us at my mom's head. You had to put us right there in the splash zone. Right. Come on.
In the splash zone.
Oh,
look, this is without question, Jace. One of my favorite episodes of the season.
Yep. Oh, we're not to the end yet. We're not to the end yet. We're not to the end yet. Because we got our boy Zuko. He reads the rest of this and he gets rather upsetty spaghetti. And who does he go to but Iroh? He says, I know you had this sent to me. What were you trying to tell me? And for the first time this season, Iroh speaks. And unfortunately, we know that it's not Mako anymore because Mako has left us by this point. But Greg Baldwin has taken over the role. This is not the first time we've heard Greg Baldwin as Mako. He did do some pickup lines in Tales of Ba Sing Se, but this is the first time that he's been solo in the role. I'm going to say the difference is noticeable, but I think he does a fine job doing what must have been an impossible task because Mako was irreplaceable. I don't think that Greg Baldwin, I don't think Greg Baldwin replaced him. I think he just picked up the baton and ran the best he could. And I think that he did a darn fine job.
Yeah,
yes.
I have zero complaints of what he did at all. Yeah, and knowing the circumstances, fantastic. And the scene itself, that scene, wow. Talk about an episode of Revelations, and then we throw this one.
Yes, because it turns out that Zuko's maternal grandfather was Avatar Roku. So, yeah, Zuko is a descendant of Roku. So basically, does that make Zuko Aang's grandson?
Makes you think.
I am my own grandpa.
But it's wow, powerful that.
Yes.
That.
And of course, this exchange between Iroh and Zuko ends with Iroh giving Zuko the hairpiece that Sozin gave Roku many years ago, saying it's customary for the crown prince to wear this. And then we get something very profound at the end from the gang, because every time something happens in this, I'm like, oh, they've got to end on this note because it's such a powerful note. No, we got one more powerful note because the gang is all together. And I think Katara's whole lesson from this was, wow, I can't believe that Sozin was that bad and everyone in the Fire Nation was that bad. And Aang just says, well, you know, Roku was Fire Nation too, and he was good. I think that, you know, a nation is not good or bad. It just depends on the people. And I just love that bit of introspection because they are not going to go fight this enemy that is monochromatic and who all want the same thing. We've seen before that the Fire Nation is diverse and that they have their own needs and their own wants. Yeah, so I thought that ending on that note was perfect.
Yeah, good and evil everybody has the capacity for both. It was a really profound ending to an exceptional episode that just took it. It was, I don't want to say it's a roller coaster, but there are times that you are really taken on a ride here, and it's really emotionally. It's not done with action. A lot of it's got to do with the emotion of it. It was, man, big fan.
It was a great episode. Pretty much all the episodes from here until the ending, every single one of them is a banger. There's one that is a little bit divisive. I'll just let the title of the episode is called The Ember Island Players, which a lot of people, you either love it or you hate it. But it's one of those, let's take a breath and relax before the really heavy stuff happens. I love the episode. It all hits personally. The wall. Yeah. Yeah. No. I love the episode personally. I think it's great.
The show just doesn't disappoint, Jace. Even their worst episodes are still great, like in their own way.
Yeah. The Where's Appa stuff got really old after a while, but even in the middle of that, the episodes are still good. We just get this insanely high expectation with this show.
That's right. We're eating the finest steak, the finest Wagyu steak on the market.
We really
and then
are.
We're complaining occasionally about maybe being a little bit of gristle.
Why did it take them so long to find Appa? Wah, 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 wah.
I was one of them.
Me too.
I was one of them.
So that is it for this episode of Avatar: The Last Airbender. I would like to give you this invitation to please join us for the next episode, which is called The Runaway.
Okay.
I don't remember what it's about. Run away, and I wonder. Why wonder?
No, I mean all in. Come on, Jake, just finish the episode because I'm going to go and watch that episode straight after.
I know you are, and I'm going to go take a nap.
wait.
If you would like to support us here in doing this really stupid, dumb thing that we do, please consider becoming a Patreon of this channel by visiting the link in the video description below, or become a channel member by visiting our channel main page. Or you know what? You can just send us money in a brown paper bag, put it underneath the garbage pail on Route 66 at exactly 12:15, and then get in your car and drive away. Don't look back.
Hush money.
Hush money. This is more like talk money. It's like, hey, keep talking.
Yeah.
We want
to. People pay us to shut up. I'm pretty
I should have put this up, but there you go.
You get the point.
I wasn't going to donate on Patreon until they put up that screen, and now I'm all in, baby. Have $100 a month. If you don't want to donate $100 a month, please do.
American dollars.
American dollars, yes.
Yeah, no, Australian dollars, please.
For now. All right. Thanks, everybody. See you next time on Breaking Wind, the Last Airbender podcast.
Hey, really, this episode, is this why we called it Breaking Wind? Because we finally get to see the Avatar breaking wind.
Sure, why not? It definitely wasn't a fart joke whenever I envisioned it.
And you could have just gone with that.